Greetings my YouTubers, welcome back to the channel guys. First and foremost, I just want to say it's an appreciation with all your support that you've shown me. I've asked for a couple of things in terms of likes, just because I put a lot of effort in these videos and mostly the engagement. A lot of people have been engaging, showing some crazy support on my videos, and I'm really happy about it, and just continue to do so. We've got a really interesting topic that we're going to be speaking about today, and we're going to be delving into when to switch with regards to offensive and defense, because there's times where you got to adjust in fights. You can't actually fight the same way how you expected. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to mention in this video that can potentially help your game, and hopefully it does help. Cause I don't really do videos that's just not going to help people. I really want to help people, as I do believe I'm one of the best undisputed players for sure, and that's hands down. So yeah, let's delve into it. Let's go. Right guys, so I've summed up two things regarding the undisputed itself. I'm not talking about in real life boxing, I'm talking about in the game, because we all know that there's a lot of things that is hindering a lot of people's potential, even mine as well. But I'm still going to be putting out these videos to make sure you guys take these things into consideration, because I'm slowly starting to see certain things. And what I've realized is there's aggressive fighters and there's patient fighters. So with the aggressors, they like to spam a lot, they like to pressure you a lot and all these things. And with the patient fighters, which I find a bit difficult, I can honestly say, due to the fact that I am a patient fighter as well. So these guys love to utilize the jab, move around the ring quite a lot. So this video is basically me telling you guys you've got to implement both, okay? And that's what you got to do in this game. It's really important to do so, because you can come across, if you're a patient fighter and you're fighting an aggressor, there's gonna be a time where they will catch you at some point. It's crazy. I don't know if it's due to like the mechanics or whatnot, but it's just how the game is. So what I've realized is you've got to have a bit of pressure yourself. You don't have to be a pressure fighter if you're already a patient fighter, but you got to mix the two basically, and vice versa. So this is the reason why I'm making this video and showing you guys on what you actually can do in terms of helping you towards this. With regards to the undisputed game, we all know that adaptability is key in this game, as I am stressing it, because there's times where I've gone in a fight with the same approach and it's not worked 100% on how I wanted it, and sometimes I've literally lost on the scorecards for it. So what you want to do is, if you are coming across a pressure fighter, what you want to do is you got to find their weakness. It's very important to find their weakness. A lot of pressure fighters do not really, I wouldn't even say pressure fighters, I would say majority of the fighters do not use both mechanics in terms of blocking high and blocking low. So see where your opponent is blocking most of the time. If they're blocking high, then their body's open for an opening. And it's really good against pressure fighters, because obviously they're coming towards you. If you're a patient fighter. If you're a pressure fighter and a pressure fighter, the same will apply, but you obviously got to make a bit more adjustments. I would say be a little bit patient as well. Don't always be the aggressor. So they like to spam as well. So this is another thing to take into consideration. And due to the spamming, what I've realized is as well is your stamina drains quite a lot. So you can potentially wait throughout the rounds in order to put a bit more pressure on them. I would say in round 6, 7, there's only 8 rounds it goes to, which is strange. And that's the really mark you kind of want to pressure them, because I've come across a lot of good fighters and I realized that they've gassed out. Despite the fact that they're spamming, they're still good fighters, and they've gassed out towards them rounds 6 or 7 and 8 as well. So that's another thing you should take into consideration, guys. Always try find their weakness, read them for a bit, go a round or two. Obviously keep your positioning, keep your game going, but try figure them out. Don't just fight not knowing what you're doing. You've got to figure them out, learn their weakness? What are they not doing that you need to be utilizing? As I said, I have trouble dealing with patient fighters because I'm a patient fighter myself. So it's like a mirror, which is weird. I love fighting pressure fighters because I feel like there's a lot more openings. So with the patient fighters, they're basically doing the same things that I'm doing, especially an outboxer. You know, they like to go back, they like to counter punch. And go check out my videos if you haven't, because I've covered quite a lot on, you know, how to counter punch and stuff like that. And there's some more going to be coming pretty much soon. But yeah, patient fighters are, to me, the most difficult ones. And this is where you kind of have to really knuckle down to what they're actually doing, you know, because they can be difficult. So in terms of a patient fighter, what you want to do is you want to try get toe to toe with them. For sure, you have to try get toe to toe. Try cut them off around the ring. I know this is, you know, self-explanatory stuff. It might be a bit difficult to do so also, but you have to try cut them off. You have to read them also. It's very important to read in terms of what they're doing, but majority of them do like utilize the ring quite a lot, you know, with their footwork, and it can be difficult in order to read them. Oh man, it's crazy, because if you're coming across a really good patient fighter, then you're gonna have to do more than what you are currently doing. You know, it's really hard for me to explain this honestly, because as I said, I've come across some really good patient fighters, and there's not really much else you can do besides, you know, try to cut them off the ring and try getting them in the corner so you can use your punches and stuff. But you got to watch out for counter punching and whatnot. But I feel like the most important is what boxer you choose. I know it's not like, you know, you're gonna know who you're gonna end up with, but try get used to a boxer that you are used to, that can adapt to, you know, literally everything. You know, for the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson as well, because he's powerful, and he can be a patient fighter as well. He's got a great stance. I don't really touch the heavyweight division at the moment due to the fact that I just feel like there's a lot going on in that division that I just don't like. And Carl Froch as well, I think that's his name. He's a good fighter as well that can, you know, adapt to quite a lot of things. There's a few more as well, but with the patient stuff, guys, it's really difficult. But as I said, use your cutting off and try improve your footwork doing this. Right guys, so I just want to give you a little tip in terms of the offensive and defense. So regards to when to shift to offensive mode is when you see your opponent showing fatigue. And you're probably thinking, how are they showing fatigue? So there's times where they have a normal stance at the beginning, you know, their natural stance. And then in the later rounds, they start walking, you know, you will see some sort of change. They'll start walking different. You don't see their stance anymore. So you got to keep an eye on this, because this is where they are showing fatigue. And on top of that, they're leaving themselves open after attacks as well. You got to keep in mind regarding that. So them two things you need to realize when you need to put a bit of pressure on your opponent, because I think the fatigue thing does need improvement, but it works well. You know, it does work well in terms of when in the later rounds. Say, for example, if a spammer is spamming quite a lot, you will definitely see the fatigue towards the end. You might not see it straight away, trust me, but you will see it towards the end. And I've literally lost a couple of times on the scorecards by opponents spamming, you know, at the beginning. And then when in the later rounds, I'm pressuring them, I'm seeing their fatigue levels like literally all the way down. I don't mean I'm actually seeing the bars, but I can see the player themselves, like they're failing. And this is the time where you need to obviously go in and do your thing. And my previous video, I displayed a lot of combinations that you can pull off. Go check it out as well. It's really good. And this will help you utilize, you know, your offense a bit better. Right guys, so in terms of defense, I think the number one thing right now is to definitely go on the defense if a lot of people are spamming. You know, the spamming needs to be an immediate fix because it's what's ruining the game right now. But you can avoid it. You can avoid it for sure. And what helps is the loose movement that you can utilize. Be mindful with this, because if you try fight with, I don't feel like it's very effective in terms of fighting. And I think it depends which boxer you are. But you don't want to utilize it all the time, because even the spammers, if they use hooks and stuff like that, you will get clipped and you will go down faster. So I would say maintain, you know, the strong guard, you know, the tight guard, the normal stance, and move around. But there's that, the reason why I'm saying in terms of a switch, there's times where there's a lot of players can cut you off quite well. So use the loose movement. It works. It's very effective. You can move around really good, and it applies with all boxers that I've tried. So I'm assuming that it's with all boxers. So definitely utilize this as a defensive tool. I can't stress this enough as well. If you are a defensive fighter, you've got to learn how to counter punch. The counter punch is really effective in this game. It's one of the best things you can actually learn. As I said, revisit one of my videos where I am using quite a lot of counter punching. I've got quite a lot of videos in there as well. This video overall has been utilizing videos as I've just shown you, but it's not the main thing that you are focusing on. So go check out my other videos. And also, you will know straight away with the fighters that you will come across. You know, a lot of people beat Canelo, for example, who is a pressure fighter. And if you are somebody different, such as, you know, I don't know, probably like somebody like Terence Crawford, even though he's a pressure fighter, you can't go up with the likes of Canelo, as he will down you quite quick. Then you more or less have to adapt to these things and go, you know, use your movement a bit more and go on the defense. So you got to take these things into consideration, guys. I would say number one thing is realize who you are boxing. Definitely. And obviously record and stuff matters. Whoever you're playing against matters. But I'm telling you this now, just be mindful of this. And if you know you're coming across somebody like Canelo and you're somebody like Sugar Ray Leonard, for example, then you know you'll more have to go on defense for sure. And it's vice versa. If you're somebody that is a pressure fighter and you're Canelo, you more or less would have the advantage, but their disadvantage would be trying to, you know, close opponents off because they'll be moving quite quick. Right, guys, so the conclusion of this video is you got to try adapt to both pressuring and being a patient fighter, but utilize which one's the best for yourself. But just be mindful on who you come across. If you do come across a pressure fighter with the likes of like Canelo and stuff, obviously adjust. And to me, they probably have a bit more advantage depending on how you've boxed. I think that's what it all comes down to. And this is the whole point of practicing. As I always say, go check out my other videos as I'm trying to help you guys become a better player. And obviously, if you are a patient fighter, it's the same thing. You gotta adapt as well. So these things are to be taken into consideration. Try utilize both, but obviously don't change your game completely, because if you are a pressure fighter, stay as a pressure fighter, but you know, learn how to be patient as well, and vice versa.